One of the things that has kind of defined me and the people I like to work with is a complete disregard for fear. I think the most exciting part about this industry is that we're constantly inventing. In fact, when we do the same thing again, we actually take a bigger risk because it is new ideas that excite us as consumers of interactive entertainment, right? So constantly inventing and being fearless about that challenge of invention. And invention's difficult because if you already knew what it was going to be, you wouldn't be inventing it. It would already exist, right? So whenever we invent, whether it's a design idea or a stylistic thing or something related to the story, we kind of depend upon this trust that there will be inspiration, that there will be revelation, that creative people thinking and bouncing their thoughts against themselves and against each other will result with something of value that emerges from that experience, and you can't benefit from that result. You can't get to that result unless you went into it without fear.
Best advice that I think I could give people in trying to get into the industry is really just do it. I mean, basically what I mean is, if you want to work on an app or do something with other people, that's a great way to start. Working on mods for games is a good avenue. Work on whatever craft is, whatever area of gaming that you like. If you're an artist, really just practice over and over again, whether it's illustrating something, drawing, painting, doing things on the computer, modeling, whatever it is that you do in the arts. If it's programming, really just practice and practice by making different software, working on software, looking into other people's software, and those types of things. Really those that do it and practice over and over again really find something that they can use to get into the industry, I find.
What I brought to Claptrap, I understood that he needed to be a very needy character. He needed to be slightly irritating, yet also endearing. Kind of like a kid brother that's outside the age group of you and your friends, but he wants to tag along, and he's kind of a little bit irritating, but you love the kid too, right? Because he's your kid brother. Hopefully you love him. Anyway, so the idea here was to create this character, and getting to do that, I was able to bring a lot of my influences that I had growing up. From Mel Blanc, the Warner Brothers cartoons, also the Three Stooges, Marx Brothers, and so on. But I directly lifted and almost stole, but they say that great artists steal, right? Some stuff from Mel Blanc and also from like Curly Howard. So when you hear things like, hey, check me out, I'm dancing, I think Bugs Bunny did that. I think there was even a Tom and Jerry cartoon that had that kind of line in there.
Gearbox as a studio has stood out because we've done a lot of really interesting interactions with our fans. We had a fan reach out and say he wanted to ask his girlfriend to marry him with a Claptrap video, and we said, okay. Wrote one, put it out, did that. And that's happened a few times. A really interesting one, we had a fan named Michael John Mamaril that died. And his best friend reached out to us and he's like, could you eulogize him? And we're like, I don't even know what to do with the weight of that question, like that's madness. And we sat down, we had a meeting, there was like 15 of us in the room, and we're like, let's just do something and give it to him and see what he says. We're not gonna post it online, we're not gonna do anything, we're just gonna do it and see. So I wrote a eulogy for him, said by Claptrap, voiced by Dave Eddings. And it's interesting because halfway through it starts as Claptrap and it's sort of funny, but at the same time, reverent. And halfway through I had Dave break character, and he just did it as Dave, not as Claptrap for the end. And we sent it off to him, and they were, Michael's dad had heard it and his whole family, and it was that was probably the best thing we ever did in the industry, and it was just for one guy. But we think of all of our fans like that.